Good evening, everybody. My name is Khalid, and I'll be talking about an ideal single photon source. So, we're all familiar with light, and as everyone in here has definitely heard of quantum physics, what may be a little less familiar is the idea of light in the quantum world. So, this was proposed by a familiar face, which is Albert Einstein, who said that light is actually made up of photons. So the quantum theory of light says that light's made up of photons, but how can we actually think of this? Well, a photon is a packet of energy, and a feature of light is that it is actually strongly correlated, which means that photons tend to arrive together. But how can we actually picture this? Well, we can picture different sources through the idea of cars on a road, under no traffic, under constant speed. So a car that has just passed in front of a door can be thought of, in principle, as in being independent, because it shouldn't really tell you, in general, anything about the next car to pass. So this is, in general, how you can think of as laser light or a coherent light source. But we can also see correlations, and this can be seen in buses. So, as anyone who's often waited for buses will see, that sometimes you'll have an extended period of time where no bus will turn up, and then all of a sudden you'll get 3 come up at once. And this is something that we can see as bunching. But we're not just here to monitor traffic, we're interested in light. So photons can actually be seen in this way. And what if we were to actually set our cars such that we have a certain time gap between consecutive cars? Well, when we actually turn this into light, we actually get something interesting. So as we see the world around us advancing, we see dependence on developments in quantum technologies. And particularly of interest here is a single photon source, which is pretty much as it sounds, a source that emits light photon by photon. Well, let's create a stream of photons now, such that no 2 photons are actually closer than this gap. So we look at a stream of photons, we introduce a gap, and we remove any photons within a distance tg. We go to the next photon, and so on and so forth. And now we've created what can actually be seen as an ideal single photon source. But quantum physics is the study of matter and energy at the most fundamental level, and it aims to uncover the properties and behaviors of the very building blocks of nature. So it interests us towards the things in the universe that are of a very tiny scale. And because this isn't always clear, we see interest in this discipline through the statistical world. And this is through a function that we know as Global's correlation function, or G2. So for our cars or coherent source, it will be the G2 will be the top function, or for our bunch light or buses, it will be like this. For a single photon source, it will be like this. But what about our gapped ideal single photon source? Well, it will look like this. After some mathematics and calculations, we see that we create this function. And I'll leave it for you to actually create it. Thank you for listening.